I'm not
I
gonna
know, right?
I'm not gonna debate you right now, but I have one question just for confirmation. Wasn't Deadpool created in the 90s? I know it was created by Rob Liefeld. I think it was the 90s.
Let's see.
I think. I'm not saying that's a takeover, but I think that's definitely jumping spots. New superhero? No.
1991.
That's the 90s, baby. To counteract your argument about new superhero, I'm not going to tell you who. A big one in 1991, a big one in 1992, and two fairly decent sized ones in 2011 and 2013. The one in 2011 has had 3 movies based off of them and a video game. That's pretty big. Now, I'm not saying you're going for the top spot, but that's fairly big. The other one in 2013 has had a Disney Plus show and a movie.
Well, so to catch everybody up, Jacob and I are debating this topic because of a couple sports guys, sports cards. Jacob's really not into sports, but he's getting better. Collectibles is the fact that you're not going to get some young rookie making people forget the established superheroes. You're just not going to have that in non-sport. And Jacob's
obviously you're not too familiar with the Iron Man Mark 120 suit.
I have no idea what you're talking about. What are you talking about?
119 was, that's for sure.
Well, Iron Man was he's an old superhero, right? Right. So what are you talking about? What are these dates and superheroes and movies you're talking about?
So to counteract that, I figured I would have a few to try and argue against that. Everybody knows Deadpool. Deadpool has had 3 movies based off of him, a video game, a slew of comics. Deadpool only came out in 1991, which is not that long ago.
That's long ago, man.
Right.
That's the same. That's the same. That's the same year. That's the same time.
No, you're thinking like the 60s.
That's the same year Ken Griffey Jr.'s rookie card came out.
We still talk about it.
I know, but what I'm saying is in sports, people forget about these older players.
I don't think
that does not happen. Deadpool. That does not happen in non-sport. Now it may happen in movies just because people age out. But as far as like IP, like you're not gonna get anybody forgetting about Mickey Mouse.
For sure.
Yeah, you're not gonna have like, even Pikachu, right? The Harry Potter fans are out there. We talked about this on the podcast. No one's forgetting about Luke Skywalker. It just doesn't. I feel like it doesn't happen. But come on, bring it.
Well, I'm not saying like forgetting about that. I'm saying like of hot new shiny toys that didn't lose their luster 2 years after starting in the MLB. That's my point. Like I'm not saying like Deadpool fell off in 1993. Like he was fairly new at the time, and he's been kind of red hot ever since. Obviously, with the help of the movies, it picks up.
But that's also a culture. That's also a cultural thing.
It is. The next one I have is Harley Quinn. It was introduced in 1992. When you think of the DC movies in the last 10 years,
these are 30, 40-year-old characters.
Okay. Is 2011 recent enough for you?
Yeah, hit me.
Miles Morales, the half black, half Puerto Rican, I believe, Spider-Man variant. 2011, he's had 2 movies released of him so far, 1 in production. He's had a massive video game released on the PlayStation about him.
And many people consider the second one, is it Into the Spider-Verse?
Across the Spider-Verse, I think.
Many people consider that the greatest superhero movie ever made. Live action or animated.
Not nearly as big as Miles Morales. Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel.
Not even close, dude.
I know that, but it's like some recent ones can kind of blow up. She's had the Disney Plus show, and she was a big part of the Avengers video game that came out a few years ago that kind of flopped. And she had the Marvels movies where she was one of the main 3.
You're not convincing me here. These young kids are not making anybody forget about the older guys. But when we move forward into this episode and we start talking about names and people are paying ridiculous amounts of money for Aaron Judge, not going to happen. You're not going to find a really good Mystique outpriced by a Kamala Khan.
No,
It's not gonna
absolutely
happen.
not. But you know what they do have over sports cards? Say the Marvel movies keep going, and then they pluck a random character out of nowhere that for all these years had no heat to him at all. And then they put out a movie, and he's the star of the show in the movie. All of a sudden,
I have one. His name is Peter Quill.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yep.
Exactly what I was thinking of. That's not going to happen in sports cards. Because we see with the legends, they go down over time.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they flat out or they flatline, but like that just doesn't. There's not going to be a sudden boom with King Griffey Jr. cards. I don't think. Besides stuff like what happened with COVID and what's happened a little bit recently, you're not going to have just a massive just shot of adrenaline in it.
I mean, you're right. Like, look, 20 years from now. So number one, it's kind of dark. It happens when somebody dies. Don't like talking about that. And it also it could happen if maybe they have a kid that starts playing again, and so they become relevant. Like I'm sure with Vlad Jr., there was some love for his father, Vlad Sr., and who his cards were in the junk wax era. Not so much Bo Bichette and Dante Bichette, but you're seeing some players get their cards get recognized because their kids are superstars or up and coming stars. So that would probably the only real way these vintage cards go down is if some of these Hall of Famers, can't keep their hands to themselves or something, or they say something stupid.
I don't think Mickey Mouse is getting canceled anytime soon.
Yep, and he doesn't tear an ACL.
No.
Yeah.
There's not a lot, but a couple of those from the 90s, a couple from the 2010s, like they're not surpassing Captain America or anybody like that, but they're not here, but they're right here. Because from what people told me, I got into Marvel Comics with the movies. Specifically, basically, like I liked the Spider-Man movies as a kid. I didn't watch the X-Men. I watched Ghost Rider. And Iron Man was all right, but when I saw like they were connected, I was like, ooh, I can latch on to this. And from what I've been told, Iron Man and Captain America were not massive names in the comic book world. That's why their rights got sold off.
Yeah.
Marvel was bankrupt. They sold off the rights to Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, Hulk, the X-Men, and a couple other ones here and there. Like Namor was a weird one, stuff like that. So they weren't working with like a good hand of cards. It was like,
no, I mean if Robert Downey Jr. doesn't hit an absolute home run with that character,
and that was Russian roulette having him in the movie.
Yeah, he a bit of a checkered past there, right?
So no, there's no recent main event players, but there's especially Miles, Deadpool, and Harley Quinn. They do pretty well for themselves. Harley Quinn was the star of 2 Suicide Squad movies. She had her own movie, which sucked. And she became popular because she was inserted into the Batman TV show. Not even in the comics first. She was created for the TV show. And then now look how big she is. It doesn't hurt that Margot Robbie's playing her.
No.
That's going to sell out any venue.
Yeah.
Except the ones for the Harley Quinn movie. But I digress. What's the next topic?
Guys, welcome to the Talking Shop podcast. My name's Michael. This is Jacob. It's Cobb on Instagram. It's just a duo today. We missed you, Josh. We can't wait for you to come back. Josh had some things to take care of, but it's gonna be a weird episode today. We don't have a rundown. We hardly have any notes, but we have a whole bunch of product to talk about. So before we jump into that, Jacob, how have you been?
I've been hanging in there. It's been an interesting week at work.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Same here. It looks like we're in the Charlotte area. Normally, I would complain about a Memorial Day that's going to get rained out, but man, we need it bad. We need it bad. I saw some footage of Lake Norman from like some drone foot. It's like apocalyptic. Makes me a little nervous. Yes. We have two stories coming up, one featuring a really tall guy and another one featuring a really, really tall guy, even taller than you, Jacob. So the first one is about Aaron Judge. I don't know if you saw this, Jacob, if you want to pull this up. It's his 2013 Bowman Chrome Superfractor 1 of 1. Is that redundant? Jacob, is a 1 of 1 Superfractor redundant?
It's super.
Yeah, that's going to the Department of Redundancy department. It sold for a little over $838,000 after being discovered sitting in a collector's house for 13 years. Dude, what?
Was he just like, was he not a big deal in 2013?
No.
But even then, though, you get a 1 of 1. That's not just gonna chill in a box. That's gonna you give me a nobody 1 of 1. That's going in a one touch.
Yeah, but I mean, how many? I'm
not forgetting about it either.
Oh, I tell you, that's why that Bowman product can get a little squirrely, right? You just never know who's going to hit it. So the card was essentially lost during, quote unquote, lost during Judge's rise from prospect to Yankee captain to MVP. Thoughts on this, Jacob? Number one, you started going into it, but how do you lose track of a card like this?
Is this like the top end for this card, or would there have been a better time in the last few years or so where it could have went for possibly more? I know the whole COVID boom we talked about.
Well, he's just been on such a run,
Really.
He did not have a good performance a couple years ago in the postseason, but and I've just sort of been waiting for this kid to sort of flame out. I mean, he's darn near 6'8". He's a big dude. Plays center field. He plays for one of the most recognizable brands.
Yeah,
he's super nice. He's super likable. And he's a really, really good baseball player. But nearly $1 million for this? Let me just put this in perspective, right? Here's some all-time great Yankees. All-time great. Babe Ruth, Mickey Mantle, Lou Gehrig, Joe DiMaggio.
I don't think this is a fair list.
I know, but I mean, it better be fair for $838,000.
That is also true.
That's just to me, that's a big number. That's a big number. He's had what, 3-4 good seasons? It is. So that was, I just named some of the larger Yankee names. How about just all time, right? We've talked about this guy forever on the podcast, Barry Bonds, right? Hank Aaron. This one's a little obscure. I don't even know. You're not a sports guy. This will be a good test. Albert Pujols. Do you know who that is?
I know who that is.
Okay. Alex Rodriguez.
He was playing the last time I paid attention to baseball in like 2005.
Alex Rodriguez, Willie Mays, Ken Griffey Jr., and here's another test, Jim Thome.
No, I don't know that one.
So I just rattled off the top 8 home run hitters of all time. The last guy on that list, Jim Thome, who you've never heard of, finished his career with 612 home runs.
That's a lot. You don't have to do much, though.
Aaron Judge, through his age 33 season, has 337.
Yeah, but people don't. I don't know when Jim Boy. I don't know when he played, but we've talked about this over the last couple of years. People don't play as long as they used to. Like LeBron could have retired 10 years ago, pretty much by today's metrics. Someone goes pro, they have a great 6 years, and they're out.
It's a fair point. Number one, they're playing for like lottery ticket money, right? Yeah. And so they don't have to play for as long as these older guys did.
That's true.
But still, I mean, we're not talking about. Look, if Judge tears an ACL, I don't know if he's going to the Hall of Fame.
Mickey Mouse ain't gonna tear no ACL.
Hey, I like that. He started late. He didn't make his major league debut until he was 24. But he's had
late.
Yeah. It's late, right? We're gonna look at some soccer product, and soccer's all driven by
he's 17 going pro.
Exactly. So he's had 3 MVP caliber seasons. He has the AL record for home runs with 62. He had another 58 plus home run season. And this is a nerdy stat. It's OPS plus. He has had one of the highest one of those in the modern era.
What is that for those that don't know at home?
OPS plus is a measure, I believe. Fact check me on this, chat. I believe that OPS plus is how you rank against other players of your position. So if you have
on-base plus slugging plus.
Look at you.
It's an advanced baseball statistic that measures a hitter's overall offensive production adjusted for external factors like league averages and ballpark dimensions. That seems like a made-up stat.
It's not made up. It tells you how you compare. And so if you have an OPS plus of 1,000 or 100, then you're average. If you're below 100, then you're below average. His has been above 100 since 2022. I think the point that I'm making is, number one, it's a shame that some of these players we just talked about, they don't get the type of love that they should. And number two, let's just hope this kid stays healthy, doesn't do anything stupid, doesn't get in a car drunk and kill somebody, because if that's the case.
And athletes love scandals.
Well, so does the news.
We all love scandals, except for the eBay prices. Those don't love scandals.
Well, from one tall guy to another taller guy. I think you posted this, right, Jacob, in the chat?
I think so.
Why don't you talk about the story, introduce it?
Well, this is the game used net from Wemby's historic 41-point, 24-rebound performance. And it's going inside of a card. Now, we talked about this a few weeks ago, about the fork being in a card. It's crazy. It's dumb, but it's not a napkin patch. This is pretty cool. This is a fun patch because they've started doing the debut stuff on the jerseys. That's fun. This is pretty cool. What do you think? I don't like that there are 3 or 4 of the patches on the net, though. I don't know why that's there. Kind of takes a little bit of the luster away.
Well, are these going to show up in 3 other cards?
But, okay, and if that's the case, then the concept of a 1-of-1 just goes out the freaking door.
It's a 1-of-1 for him. It's a 1-of-1 for him.
Now, or you're going to have a 1-of-1 for Chrome, or 101 for whatever else Topps releases. I don't pay that much attention. Like, it defeats the purpose of it. It's like, no, you have one Wemby card. It has the net in it, pretty much. That's what it is.
No, they're saving this for some sort of a dual auto. There'll be a Western one and there'll be an Eastern one. Truth be told, I had no idea they were putting these in the nets. So
It's
implications,
fun,
right?
They've been really trying hard with the relics lately.
Yeah, like, well, what are the implications here? They're gonna have one of these things on like a penalty flag for football. I can guarantee you, if they're doing this for a basketball net, they're going to do this for every soccer net for the World Cup.
Put a patch on the net that goes behind the field goal.
Yeah, the net for the hockey. I mean, it's pretty creative. Pretty creative. What do you think this goes for?
More than it should.
That's becoming a safer and safer answer.
But you talk about, we mentioned it several times in the show, tearing ACL. Look, from one tall guy to another, those body parts don't move as well as one might think they do. And let's just be honest here. This guy is kind of built like a walking stick. I don't know how long his career is going to be, because with the league that can be aggressive and not that aggressive at times, it's weird. I don't see those legs holding up.
I think the league is going to totally protect this guy.
Really?
I think whatever team he plays for, they're gonna draft a couple goons, some thugs, and if you
it takes one Terrell Owens to take him out.
I know, but if you breathe on this guy a certain way, they're gonna send some guys after you.
That's the first thing that comes to mind when I see him. His body he's naturally not going to hold up,
right? But
in like everyday life,
I thought that too. But he's like, what is he like? 7 foot,
7'1", I think.
7 foot. No, I think he's 7'4", something ridiculous, right?
Wow.
Here, look it up real quick. How much does he weigh?
He's 7'4".
7'4". How much does he weigh?
That I do not know. Hold on.
Wemby weight. I bet he's 250.
230.
That's still a big human.
Most of that's bone. What are you talking about?
Okay, yeah, you're right. So through his first 2 seasons, because we did this with Judge, I feel like we have to do it with Wemby. He won the Rookie of the Year. He was an All-Star, Defensive Player of the Year, multiple 40-point games, multiple 20-rebound games, multiple 10-block games. Let's put this up against some of the superstars, all-time greats, right? LeBron James, in his first 2 seasons, won the Rookie of the Year and was an All-Star. No MVP voting. Or no MVP votes. Michael Jordan, first 2 years, Rookie of the Year, All-Star, was a scoring machine, but he wasn't quite a defensive player. Shaq, Rookie of the Year, All-Star. Tim Duncan, Rookie of the Year, NBA champion, MVP candidate. I think compared to the all-time greats, Wemby's off to a really good start. But you bring up a great point. He's how durable is this kid? And are we going to look back? Seriously, when we look back going, gosh, we should have gotten in on this kid when we still could have? Or are we going to be glad we waited?
You brought up a good point. Let me put my tinfoil hat on real quick. You said the league will probably do everything they can to try and protect this kid. And then you started listing off a bunch of names of guys that were in a pretty aggressive early 2000s league. I feel like it's the argument that people make for college football versus pro football. Those guys wanted it more back then than the guys nowadays. It seems, from an outsider, non-sports guy looking in, it seems like there was more determination to make it because you had to have you had to have skill and the longevity in order to be successful. Whereas nowadays you can get signed for a year, be set for the rest of your life, and then never play again. I don't feel they have that drive to just like go out there and do it all. Yeah, he's had a couple good years, you said. But like, when is that going to turn the other way?
Well, I mean, we looked up his height and weight. Let's look up what his contract is.
4-year, $55 million rookie contract.
All right. Let's look up Michael Jordan's rookie contract.
Does that make sense, though, with what I was saying?
Absolutely makes sense.
Because I don't know what I'm talking about. Just anyway, 7-year rookie contract worth $6 million. What is wrong with this world? I hate it here.
So, number one, they're going to protect him because he's an investment. He's an investment. Guys are playing for so much money now that when a team and a league pours that much, there's no way. There's no way we could have the league that we used to have now, because this kid would be spitting out chiclets every other night if it was 1989.
Can I circle it back to wrestling for a second?
Yes, of course.
I always poke fun at my dad. My dad's pretty old school. He's got you beat by several years, Michael. He's pretty, things were tougher back then or whatever. And then he watches sports nowadays, and he's like, it just feels fixed. It feels rigged. And I say, you know what I like about wrestling? It's the only sport out there that will admit that there's a little bit of fake to it. And all these other ones, if you got to talk, if we're having to discuss about guys being protected and all that stuff, and we see it every week we turn on the TV, there's a lot of flags that should be called, and there's a lot that should not be called. And it's just like, I don't know. I feel like the metric to measure greatness is going to be a little different now compared to back then. Now, we talk about Shohei in baseball being just otherworldly at this point. Do you think there's any bit of that protectedness for Shohei?
Baseball has more unwritten rules than any other sport. So there's probably an unwritten rule. Now, I've seen him lately get plunked a couple times, but and if somebody's missing high and tight on him, it's probably a mistake and not on purpose. Number one, if you plunk him in the middle of his back, he's going to be pitching against you one time or another.
I guess that wasn't a good example.
Yeah, he's going to throw one in your ear hole. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to get that much. I just think baseball, there's just too many players that you could just sort of slide in. Certainly, he's the face of the league, and it would be devastating to the league if something were to happen to him. But I think there's more of a respect there than other sports. But certainly, some of these football players, especially quarterbacks, look at these young quarterbacks signing for $100 million. Yeah, they're not going to let anything happen to these guys. They're not going to do it, And if we want to back up to our first conversation about superheroes, the opposite happens there, right? You get some OP people in a movie, and they've got to nerf them so they don't tear everybody's heads off. That's annoying. So, with Josh absent, we're going to have to do the giveaway and the secret word ourselves. Jacob, how you feeling about that?
The giveaway is any 2 hobby boxes in Grand Slam right now that you want. They're yours.
You can even open them first and sort of pick through.
That one was bad. Give me that one.
Yep.
National treasures included.
You can weigh them. You can bring your own CAT scan in.
You can even go pick out 2 hobby boxes from Backyard Breaks to up your odds.
There you go. Anyway, let's get this thing back on the track. The giveaway, Jacob, you want to show these 2 cards? Pretty sweet giveaway, guys. This week, we have got two of the biggest rookies in this year's class, Cooper Flag and Con Knuppel. These are going to be the giveaway this week. All you have to do is walk into the store, smack Josh on the forehead, and say the secret word, which is coffee. Again, all you have to do is walk in, smack Josh on the forehead,
or rub his head for good luck,
and say the secret word, coffee. And now, a word from our sponsor.
And now, if you've ever thought about getting a card graded, now's the time. Here's a word from our sponsor. Me.
Are you looking to get your cards graded? Well, here at Grand Slam, we've simplified the process of submitting and getting a card graded. All you have to do is drop off your cards and kick your feet up, while our transparent tracking ensures that you are up to date with every detail along the way. When you log into our website, you'll immediately be greeted with each card in the grading process, along with where it's at in the process and its final grade. And with over 1,000 submissions and some of the top cards across the country being submitted through us, we have become a well-trusted source to handle and submit your cards. So you can do more collecting and leave the chore of grading to us. So don't sit on grading your cards. Get them submitted today at Grand Slam, where grading's made easy.
So while Jacob is pulling up the most massive new in the shop segment we've ever had, I'm just going to start with the first one that he's going to show us, which is 2026 Leaf Pro Metal Baseball. So we're a big fan of Leaf on this podcast. We're going to just go through these fairly quickly, but in case you didn't know, Pro Set is a throwback brand from the late 80s, early 90s. This is a baseball product. We're chasing Connor Griffin, PJ Morlando from my hometown, Ethan Holiday. The reason why people love it, the reason why we love Leaf, there's going to be a ton of autos from early prospects. Quite frankly, it's a lower price point than Bowman Baseball. You can still get some of the same prospects.
Piggybacking off that, not to undervalue another product, you don't really skunk that bad with Leaf, if at all. Especially a little bit of their, I don't want to say higher end. You get above like 250 for a hobby box, which is not high end, unfortunately.
Right.
You're going to do pretty well.
The next product we're going to talk about, actually the next three products we're going to fly through are soccer products. The first is going to be 25-26 FIFA Prizm Soccer. This is a flagship product. Go Panini, hanging on for dear life and using soccer to do it. We're chasing Yamal, Bellingham, Mbappe, Erling Haaland, Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo is in this product, and it's Prizm, guys. Say what you will, but licensed Prizm still holds some value. And from the looks of these cards, they look great. Also in the shop is 25-26 Donruss Soccer. Again, you're chasing the same players. There's a kid named Endrick in this. This is going to be a lower price point. This is going to be a paper product, but still it's that classic Donruss brand, and you're chasing that rated rookie in this product. Oh, that's cool. Beautiful game. And it's got a bit of a throwback feel to it. Looks like Kit Kings instead of Court Kings. The zero gravity. Not crazy about that one. That one's pretty cool. The animation cards.
Oh.
And then kabooms can be found in Donruss Soccer. So obviously that's going to be the chase. The next product we're going to talk about is 2026 Wild Card Illuminations Football. Before we get into this, what's your feeling about this Wild Card brand?
I call it Leaf Light.
Interesting. Diet Leaf.
The cards look really cool all the time. I see them when Josh posts them on the Instagram. I see them. You see the hobby boxes on the shelf. They catch your eyes a little bit better, honestly, than a lot of the Panini and Topps products do. I don't know. Like, I think the Stars autos pretty much run the same as a Leaf auto, wouldn't you say? Maybe a little less.
I would say less. I mean, Wild Card is not going to hold the same.
Yeah.
Doesn't hold the same reputation in the hobby as Leaf. They're really fun. I think it's a good way possibly to get started in the hobby. I think this skews younger because of the design. Arch Manning is in this. Do I need to say more? Go ahead and scroll down. Let's see who else is in this.
Oh, a lot of people.
Yeah. So
Big
you're gonna get
Brock Purdy.
You're gonna get established stars, but you're also gonna get some NIL stars. So maybe it's a chance to get in on some players early in their career before they do anything. I think if we've learned anything, taking a risk on young quarterbacks is about almost as risky as you can get in the hobby sometimes. But with that being said, there are some big names in this product. Wild Card's always going to come in at a better price point than say your other brands. So if you're looking for a really, really fun rip, great looking cards, and you love football, this is a great alternative. Speaking of football, we've got 2026 Leaf Optic Chrome football. And in case you haven't noticed, we're fans of the Leaf product. Thoughts here?
It's going to be affordable. You can get good autos, and you're not going to have to think about selling the house.
And it looks like these are going to be more college. That's what it looks like. See if we can.
Yeah.
And right when I say that, there's Barry Sanders. Thank you, Jacob. If you can keep scrolling down, that'd be great. There's a nice Bo Jackson. Keep going.
Oh.
And another Peyton Manning. So much for all the college players. Battleborn.
This Battleborn features 41 retired standouts, as well as current Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes. That's pretty crazy. Leaf does pretty good with their patches for the most part. I know whenever they were like trying to do like team logo patches, they would like shift it sometimes. I don't remember exactly how, but they find a little workaround for it.
Oh.
Like look at that Terry Bradshaw.
Pretty nice.
And you're always gonna get triple autos, quad autos, sometimes 6-8 car or autos on a car.
It's interesting. So Leaf is unlicensed both on the pro and the college side, which I didn't realize they didn't have the college logos either. Still great looking cards though. This is a big one. 25-26 Bowman's Best Basketball. I'm sorry, this is 25-26 Bowman's Best University Basketball. So this is going to be a college product. You're going to get your Bowman's the players in their college unis. But Bowman's Best always has a great design. Looks like these are. Did you say that these are going to be stickered autos because they're college players? They'd have to be, right? They'd have to be. They're not going to be. They're not going to be shipping cards.
I do like the 4 autographs per box, though.
I do love that.
One patch auto.
I can't imagine they're sending cards to dorm rooms and colleges.
They're probably sending guys to colleges.
This is a great product. Typically, if you're sort of new to the hobby, college products are going to tend to be a little more cost effective than the pro products for the most part. So if you're a college basketball fan, Bowman's Best Basketball, good product for you guys to rip. We've got Topps Finest Football, your classic Topps Finest brand. I think this one's going to do really well. If you're just listening, we're looking at the Jackson Dart big blue inscription logo. I think everybody's doing the inscriptions these days. What do you think?
I don't mind it.
Yeah.
Gives you a reason to chase a 1 out of 50 or out of 150 a little bit more.
Yep, this is going to be a little more expensive, a little higher end, but based on these designs, that's super cool. Based on this class, Topps is doing a good job at making people forget about Panini football.
Panini is doing that on their own as well.
Yeah. But, you know, Topps Finest has always had that tie back to 90s basketball. And that momentum carries on here. That is a cool card, Josh.
That's nice. We're going to get a pylon patch next.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good looking set. All right, a couple more, and then we'll get out of here. It's 2025-26 NBA Hoops basketball. We talked about this last week, how we always thought that NBA Hoops was a Panini product. I guess it was just a free agent because it's now a Topps product. And it's your classic NBA Hoops look, fully licensed under the Topps brand. A good way to get into basketball cards at a price point that's not going to absolutely murder you.
So they're going to be a throwback to 1989 or Topps has declared all the way back to the first Hoops products with the 1989 throwback autographs, which are set to the simplistic design that was originally amplified by the first David Robinson rookie card on the market. And he's going to be in this set. So shout out to him.
And then I remember finding a Topps, an 80, no, it was probably a 90, 91 Hoops box, and I ripped it and found the Mark Jackson card with the Menendez brothers in the photo.
Nice.
So
that's an interesting card.
Very interesting. And then the last product we're going to talk about is 2026 Leaf Baseball Nation. I think we started with a Leaf product. We're going to end with a Leaf product. Again, we're chasing Connor Griffin, Ethan Holiday, two of the bigger names. If you love prospects, if you love baseball, and if you love cards, this is just a way to stay in the hobby. If you don't want to get into these big dollar, high-priced products, Leaf does a great job of being able to let collectors rip product at a good price.
This is cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we're looking at, if you guys are just listening, we're looking at the Nolan Ryan Baseball Nation insert, shaped like a baseball. Would love to see him on like a train, the Ryan Express, but and hey, look, that you will find this photo on other cards that are licensed. I promise you. That's a pretty famous photo of Ken Griffey Jr. I'll have to dig that up. And then Seth Hernandez. Yay. And Carlton Fisk. And then they've got the next 100, top 100 prospects in baseball.
They're doing some cool die cuts in this product.
Yeah, that's a great looking die cut. All right.
I didn't like the design at first, but the more I scrolled, the more I was in. Because when we started out here, I was like, these kind of look like Uno cards. And we really improved the further down we went.
There you go. Well, guys, thanks for hanging in there with us. That was an extended New in the Shop. We had to make do without Josh tonight. And like I said at the beginning, we can't wait for you to get back here, Josh. Without Josh, no crazy stat, but I'm sure the next time he comes back, he'll probably have 2 or 3 to make up for it. Jacob, thanks for joining us. I know it's a long day for you. And guys, thanks for watching and listening. And until next time, peace.